Kakalosh, Boker Tov. We're just going to continue with Halachot, is Siman Samech, where it's still talking about the nails. But today we're going to speak about, not about the cutting of the nails, but what do you do with the nails after you cut them. So the Gemara Masechet Nidad of Yudzayin Amud Aleph says, Shimon Bar Yochai, there are 5 things that a person that he does, he's going to be mitchayev b'nafsho v'damo b'rasho, which means that obviously it's not good to do. And he says that one of them is an otel tzipornav v'zorkan l'rshut harabim. He's going to cut his nails and he's going to throw it in a public place. The Gemara there says why? Because if a woman that's pregnant is going to pass by, she will have a miscarriage. The Gemara says there are 3 things which are said by the nails. If you burn your nails, you are a chassid. If you bury the nails, you're a tzaddik. And if you throw them away, if you just throw them around, so then you're a rasha. And that doesn't matter whether it's going to be the tzipornaim of the hands or of the toenails, the feet. Doesn't matter which nails, they are very dangerous. Now what's the reason? The reason is brought down for the, why is the dafka to do with mu'beret? Meaning it's mashma, it's only because of a pregnant woman. Why is a pregnant woman, what's going on over here? So the Aliyah Rabba and the Primi Gadim, the Mateh Moshe, they all bring down in the name of Tulat Yaakov. It's also brought down in the En Yaakov and the Gemara in Moed Katan that we're going to quote in a minute. And he says, Adam Rishon, before his sin, his entire body was a nail. Meaning the skin of Adam Rishon was a nail. He says after he sinned, all the entire protective form of the body went away from him, and it went to the end of the body. So that's why you have on the toes, which is the end of the body in the bottom, and on the hands, you still have the nail. But really, Be'emet, our entire body was made out of nails. So he says, who was the one that caused this? The woman. So because of that, what happens is that it's going to be a problem that a woman, she's going to come and step on the nails, it's going to be very dangerous for her. Some other people, they want to say that the explanation is because, especially when she's pregnant, she's very istinit, she's very finicky. So therefore, if she's going to be very istinit and very finicky, so now she's going to be disgusted by it, and therefore it could cause a apala, it could cause a miscarriage, and a third explanation is because of kshafim, because of witchcraft. The Gemara Masechet Moed Katan says that what happens if you're in a bet midrash? So he says, in a bet midrash, there are no women found. So he says, so then you're allowed to. Why? Because women don't come there. So he says, especially if you're going to throw it in the bet midrash and then they're going to sweep it away, so therefore there's no problem. So from here we learn a concept of shinui makom. What does that mean? Even if it happens in the washroom, you cut your nails and a nail fell on the floor and you can't find it. What do you have to do? You just come and you start brooming the floor. Once you broom the floor and you've moved it from one place to another, it's not going to damage. Some people say that you have to actually broom it out of the room, but it's not just enough shinui makom that you moved it from the place where it fell to somewhere else. Some people say that it has to go actually out of the room, but for sure if you're going to broom the floor, it's going to help out. Some people also say that it's only going to be a problem on the first day that it falls on the floor, or the first day that you actually cut your nails. If it's going to be afterwards, there's not a problem, but he does bring down over here that a lot of people argue on that, and therefore obviously you should be careful. So again, just to sum it up, right, it's something very, very halakha, that again, to do with the nails, obviously it's going to be a danger when you're going to be cutting the nails, so be very careful where it's going to be. You are allowed to throw it, whether it's going to be in the toilet or in the sink or another place where it's going to get rid of it. Again, there is actually brought down that we said that if you burn it, you're a chassid, and the reason why is because by burning the nails, Tosafot brings down that it's bad for a person. It's not good for their mazal. So therefore, if they're doing such a thing, but just to protect other people, so therefore they're considered pious. They're considered a chassid in such a fashion. However, though, that we just mentioned, again, just to sum up, the very dangerous to have the nails being thrown around. So whenever you're going to cut the nails, make sure you get rid of them in a proper fashion. If it is that they do get on the floor or anywhere else, make sure that you broom it up and move it from one place to another to make sure there's no problem. Even if it's going to be that you put it somewhere and it's going to be that you want to put it somewhere else, it doesn't matter. It's still going to damage, even if it's not going to be the same day. Some people say it's 2 or 3 days later, there's not a problem. But for sure, a person should be careful, because with all these things, obviously, that it's very dangerous for a woman that she's pregnant to have this. So therefore, a person should just be careful with getting rid of the nails in a proper fashion.